Hello, Champion School of Real Estate. All of our wonderful customers, just thank you for your business, whether it's real estate, loan, appraisal, or inspection. I personally appreciate your business. I'm Rita Santamaria. I'm the founder of Champion School of Real Estate and love to be able to take these opportunities to bring in our superstars, whether it's in real estate, loan appraisal, inspection. Today, I have a wonderful superstar on the lending side, Nicole Hatter. She is with West Capital Lending, and the headquarters is Irvine, California. And as everyone knows, with NMLS, the National Mortgage Lending out of Washington, D.C., you may take your courses anywhere. You get your NMLS number as a loan officer, and you can go anywhere in the USA. Some states require a few additional hours in addition to the 20 standard national hours. In some states, it's just the 20 hours. But she does office in Houston, Texas, and she's only been in the business a short time. I am so excited to have you get to meet Nicole Hatter. So, Nicole, hello. How are you today?
Hi, Rita. I am great. It is a Friday. The weather's nice here in Houston, right? I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. Let's get to know you just a little bit so that our students, both new and experienced, understand the mortgage lending business, but also get to know this beautiful person that I'm talking with today. First of all, I know that you have an 11-year-old daughter, is it?
Yes.
And just curiously, before you decided to go into mortgage lending, what position or job did you have before this? Or what was your first job? Just give us a little bit of background on Nicole.
Oh, wow. My very first job, I was actually 14 in Saginaw, Michigan, which is where I was born. And I worked at McDonald's in high school, all 4 years of high school, actually. Um, I came here to Houston in 2012 after I graduated from high school. It was on a scholarship to go to Texas State University. And just a short while after that, I had my little girl. And I did various roles in various industries, just trying to find myself. I mean, I know a lot of people can relate when I say, in your 20s and in your late teens, you are literally trying to figure out who you are and what you
Yes.
want to do, right? So I worked in the healthcare field for like 6 years. And then right before actually becoming a lender, I was working at Progressive Insurance. It was a remote position. So I have done a little bit of everything, if I'm being honest with you. I'm
I
very,
have to ask the question, working at McDonald's in high school,
yeah.
what do they do with those hamburgers at the end of the day? Do they let the employees take them home?
I'm being honest. I'm going to be honest with you and say they throw them away. They count them
Oh,
for inventory for waste purposes and they throw them in the trash, thankfully.
okay. Well, now we all know the truth. Let me ask this question. Having had a background that truly had nothing to do with lending, what was the defining moment or motivation that caused you to end up at Champion School of Real Estate to get your loan officer's license?
Okay, I'm going to be very, very honest. Okay. Um, I have a friend who was a realtor or is a realtor, very well known realtor. And, I just loved to see their freedom. Like they were just, it seemed like they were free. I never really saw the back end of them working, all the time, but it seemed
Mhm.
like they were free. Like they were able to like free up their schedule whenever they wanted. So I had just lost my father, and I was, having issues at work because I lost my father at a very young age, and I felt like I still needed him. It's just a couple years ago. I felt like I still needed him, and so I was struggling at work. They noticed I was struggling, and in that industry, they need their workers to work, and I just was not able to be who they needed me to be. So, um, my realtor friend just kind of suggested, he's like, "Hey, like, why don't you do something else? Like, why don't you do something that will give you the time to get yourself together when you need to, like this? You're stressed out right now because of what you're going through personally, and you're also stressed out about how I was stressed out about work and how I wasn't able to perform. So I was like, I don't want to be in the heat. Man, I'm in Houston. It's hot. I can't and will not run around in the Houston heat like you. And they're like, well, you're really good with numbers because I'll be done in December with my bachelor's in business and finance. And they were like, you're really good with numbers. Why not the lending side? I'm like, what is that? What is that? And so did a little research and we got here.
And here you are.
Yes.
How long did it take you to get your first loan together?
I took my loan origination class in September of 2023. I think it was like September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, or 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I actually passed my exam on October 13th, that very next month. And then I was active on the NMLS and approved November 11th. So and I had already a client waiting for me. They knew I was new. I had a client already waiting for me, and they actually closed a week before Christmas. Actually, the 21st, December 21st. So that was my very first loan. And I will tell you, I don't know how
Con-
it happened, but it happened.
Congratulations. That is fantastic
Thank
to
you.
have a loan waiting in the wings for
Yeah,
you just to get your license. On many sides, whether it's real estate or loan, we often hear about, oh, I have a buyer just waiting for me until I get my license.
yeah,
But it's a little more unusual to say, I had a loan just waiting for me once I got my NMLS. So between, let's say, November and March,
hmm.
about how many transactions have you been involved in as a lender?
Wow. So I'm actually counting, right? I'm counting until I get to 100. But I was going to be reaching 20 because I have a couple that's under contract to close in May. But three fell out because well, not even because of me. They fell out because I lost them to a builder who had incentives that I couldn't offer. They had unicorn interest rates and covering closing costs. And lenders and realtors out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm
Exactly.
20 right now. Haven't reached it yet, but very, very close. Very close.
Well, I am very, very excited for you and just tell you congratulations. We have a number of new people watching. A number of those people are saying, gosh, I think I'd like to do what Nicole's doing. So, what did Nicole do in order to get her career off the ground? What is your plan of action that you do every day or every week in order to keep you top of mind, your name top of mind with realtors and buyers?
That's a great question. I mean, many would think that I'm utilizing what most people in business utilize today, which is social media. If you go to my social media, it there's echoes because I am not yet using it to its fullest potential. What I do, because every person is different. Some people are good behind the camera, some people are good in front of the camera. Me personally, I'm really shy when I get in front of the camera, but when you meet me in person, I'm a whole different light. So I would say what helped me the most is actually going to real estate events, networking events for
Mhm.
professionals, whether it's nursing, whether it's for attorneys. I've also surrounded myself with like minded individuals in the business that have been doing this for far longer than I have, and just kind of asking them, what helped them, and then just mimicking what they do. I will say that I am going to start utilizing social media. That's just not an avenue that I have taken yet, perfected, and even really know how to work.
Well, I want to say to you, the personal interaction that you said that you're doing is
Yeah.
actually the very best
Yes.
type of marketing out there. In my marketing course and my 30 Days to Success book, I tell everyone that you've got personal, impersonal, and personal. And on the personal side, when you interface and people get to have a conversation with Nicole, what you're doing is the best kind of marketing out there. So you like to go to events, you like to go to sort of meet and greet on the realtor side. And how do you find out about those? Because people, again, I know how to find out about
Right.
them,
Right.
but if you would tell our wonderful students that are watching right now, how did Nicole, brand new person, find marketing events to attend?
Okay. So, very first thing I utilize is Eventbrite. Eventbrite is your best friend. Seriously. Eventbrite will, I mean, they have a plethora of events, right? From entertaining events to networking events. I'll also like to give credit to the fact that I have an amazing group of friends who are in the medical field, who are esquires, and like I said, who are realtors already. So, once they knew that I was new, and once they knew that like I'm not the social media girl, that I am a very in person type of person, they actually would tell me about these events. And I mean, it's one thing to tell me about the event, but it's another thing to actually get up, put yourself together that day and go. And because they are just there every day, like every week, like there's events every day of the week that you can utilize to just meet people. You don't always have to go to an event looking for a transaction. You go to events to meet people. Every person that you meet is an opportunity for transactions. So just being myself, just I love meeting people. I love helping people. So
That was so very well said. You're not going to get a transaction, you're
right,
going to meet people.
right.
But getting up, getting dressed, getting out the door, that's 90%. And then you show up and you need to see those people a couple of times. And then all of a sudden it clicks. And they think of Nicole Hatter. And they think of seeing her beautiful face and her great smile and how really kind she was. And they know that when they bring their buyer to you, the buyer will be welcome, treated well.
Right.
And how did you overcome the fear of going to your first event? Did you go with someone or did you let someone know you were going to be there? Because we have a lot of people watching and they're thinking, oh, that really makes me fearful to have to go out and see new people.
If I'm being honest with you, Rita, I don't like that wasn't my fear. For some reason, the camera is my fear. So I know there's different types of people, but for me, I did go with a friend who was a realtor to my very first real estate event. It was, yeah, it was with Real Brokers. They had an event, and I went with the realtor that is a part of their brokerage. And honestly, I took the event for what it had to offer. Coming into 2024, it was called Conquer 2024. And at the end, they had like a social hour for everybody to meet each other. And I literally shook as many hands as I possibly could. and gave out my business card to as many people as I could. And then I just followed up with those people as time went on.
Well, that's my next question. What is your follow up procedure? What do you do to follow up with people you've met?
So honestly, it's just like, so first of all, I have a digital business card, and there's a lot of different digital business cards that's on the app stores now, on the phones. My digital business card that I have, though, it keeps a record of all of the people that I've given it to. So I will literally every week I have on my calendar follow up. I have to have a calendar. A calendar is life for me because my head is like everywhere all the time. But it's follow up, and it's literally an hour that I dedicate at least once or twice a week, to where I'm just like, hey, how are you doing? It's Nicole. In case you forgot, I met you at XY event. I was just wondering, how you were doing. Sometimes I ask them, I was just wondering if you've had any situations that you've come across since we've met that, maybe is troubling you, that you need some advice about. See if I have some connections where we can help you figure things out. I try to be an asset to the people that I meet in any way that I possibly can. But yeah, I just follow up with them. That way I send a text, sometimes I'll call, sometimes they don't answer, sometimes they do.
Nicole, do you work by yourself independently? Are you on a team? Do you plan to be on a team, or how do you operate?
That's a great question. You have some great questions, Rita. So I'm independent in the sense that I work by myself as a mortgage broker,
Mhm.
but I am on a team in another sense that I've actually partnered with a realtor, and what I am to them is a client care coordinator. So as they get leads or as they get people that come into their system and is looking to buy a house or looking to lease
Mhm.
an apartment, they meet me first. I'm the person that picks up the phone and call them to figure out what it is that they need help with. So if they say I want to buy, my first question is, are you pre-approved? You know? And a lot of them is like, they're like, oh, I didn't even know that I needed to do that. No worries. That's why I'm
Yeah.
here. So I'm independent in the lending side, but I am a part of a team in real estate in its entirety.
I love it. What you're saying is you're a teammate or a colleague within the real estate community,
Right.
but you work independently as a loan officer.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love that. I love that because we are a team. The title company, the lender, the inspector, the realtor, everybody brings that whole team membership together in order for the transaction to get to closing
Exactly.
successfully. Do you attend closings or not?
I do. It's my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite thing to do for so many reasons. I attend closings because a lot of times, when we're going through the actual process, people can get discouraged, or they'll be confused, no matter what we explain to them. They're like, okay, I'll just do what you asked me to do to get this to closing. But I go because I want to congratulate them on the accomplishment of ownership. This is yours. You did this. You made this transaction happen. So I go because I just want to be somebody else that lets them know how awesome they are and that they were able to accomplish, this. I think it's important to have that team.
I love it that you go to closings because of all of everything you mentioned. We encourage in class for our loan officers to go to closing.
You're right.
It's also like the final, just the final, but then it allows you to ask for referrals as well. They know that you're the one that got them into their beautiful new home. And so then it's a great time to say, if you have any friends, family looking for a loan, please tell them about me.
Right.
Let's change the scene for just a minute
Okay.
and let's go into the role of yourself on a day by day basis. When you are talking with a buyer, how do you have that conversation to relax them and yet let them know that you have to talk about their finances for a bit because that's your role. And then how do you tell them, or what do you tell them they should not do from the time of loan application until they successfully get at the closing table? Tell us about that huge conversation you have to have.
First and foremost, the first thing to know with them is, are you serious about this? This is huge. Like, it's great. It's huge though, right? So I let them know, I'm your friend in this. I'm not going to judge you. We all have a resume in our life, on paper, and that is what is utilized when it comes to making this transaction happen. So I kind of let them know, you know, there might be something that you're not comfortable telling me, but I need to know that in order to help you make this happen. So I kind of let them know that, being open and honest and transparent with me is what's going to get you to the closing table. You know, my job not is not to judge you. My job is to help you. So I am going to do what it is I need to do to make sure you reach this goal. Sometimes they come to me and I have to let them know, you're not ready, but you need to do A, B, and C to get ready. And we just closed on Tuesday with a couple that I've been working with since January. Their goal was to get closed by March, but they had some things that we needed to work on in order for them to make it to
Mhm.
the closing table. I let them know as well. Please do not make any large transactions or commitments while we're doing this. Please be cognizant of your credit cards, your revolving accounts, your car notes. Let's make sure everything's on auto pay. Let's make sure we're not getting any late payments. Let's make sure we have no derogatory marks hitting your credit report. Let's make sure we're not moving money from this bank account to the next bank account. Let's keep everything safe and plain. You know, um, I let them know before you do anything revolving around your finances, talk to me. I'm your trusted source of knowledge. Let me know what it is you want to do. I will let you know if it's okay to do or if it will hinder this goal that you and I are currently embarking on and working on.
Great conversation. I hope you use that same body language when you talk with them, and I'm sure you do. You
Yes.
look very sincere, very serious, genuinely kind,
Yes.
and it's a tough conversation, but for sure, don't go buy the new furniture for the house. Don't go buy the washer, dryer, refrigerator for the house. Wait, wait, wait until after you close. Or you said, call me. Let me tell you what you can afford or can't afford.
Right.
And so many, once it's like, oh, we found the house. Okay, let's go buy a new car to put in the garage. And now they've just messed up getting the house.
Right.
So it's so important buyers know that for
Yeah.
sure. I can see that you would be a good one to have that conversation with because you look very serious, direct, but very open to having a good conversation with that.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's go another direction. When you were at Champion School of Real Estate, first of all, you wrote a lovely note about your instructor, Paul Santamon.
God, I love him.
What were some of your favorite classes that you took? I know that you took the mandatory 20-hour. Is that the class you had Paul in, or was it the marketing?
Yeah, it was the mandatory, the 20-hour, 23-hour course that we have to take. It's when I had Paul. Um, I'll
What
even
was it? I'm sorry. I was just going to say, what was it about Paul as your instructor that made you feel confident?
Paul was very honest. He was very honest in the sense that he let us know why he was there, what his job was, but that we were not done after we left his class. he let us know, I have you for 3 days, and then I have you, for the studying after for a couple of classes, but you still have to do work outside of this. He painted real estate or loan originating with real life examples. Um,
Good.
yeah, Paul, he made jokes. I mean, he was super, super funny. And even after I left class with him, if I had a question, like I had my first VA, my client that said that they wanted to do a VA loan assumption. I asked Paul, where do I go for this? Where do I start? And Paul let me know, you start with the loan servicer for the VA client already. So you go there first. So Paul is just he made my class very memorable. He set expectations, for us that we still have work to do. And he was always there if I had any questions, even after. And honestly, I give credit to Paul just as much as I give credit to Champion School of Real Estate, because you guys chose him and you chose well, because
Oh,
I don't know.
thank you. And that was many years ago. Can you believe, like 38 years ago,
Wow. Wow.
that I chose Paul Saint Amon? And certainly he's the director of our lending, writes our books, and loves, loves, loves teaching. But I give you credit because you paid attention. And then I want to say to you, oh my gosh, you had a VA assumption to
Yeah.
work on. That's a little unusual, especially in this day and time, in the short period of time that you've been in lending. So good job on that. What right now is your favorite type of loan to work on that you just feel like, oh, good, slam dunk?
That's an easy question. I absolutely love FHA because it's kind of like your second chance loan, for a lot of young people that haven't purchased before, and you know haven't really gotten themselves financially in a place where they feel like they can purchase. But FHA guidelines allows for a person to have a challenged credit score and put down a low down payment and still be able to own a home. So I love FHA. I love FHA. Can I say
I
my second favorite?
Yes, go ahead. Second favorite.
Is VA, because my clients don't have to put down a down payment. And the two clients I've had that's done VA, they've actually gotten checks at the closing table. I love
You
that.
have surprised me and amazed me because I certainly thought you were going to say a conventional loan with a big down payment. Instead, you took the two most difficult loans out there. Yes, FHA is the way you said it, second chance loan.
Yes.
That is a cool term, just in that you don't have to put as much money down
No.
and you can be in the same price point.
Right.
And the seller can also participate quite a bit. And then for our veterans at Champion School of Real Estate, we have a discount for veterans taking courses. But at the same time, I love it that you like doing VA. Many lenders just don't care for VA. And yet, our veterans, there are so many, and they need a person like Nicole Hatter to help them through the process. So, congratulations with those two answers. I had no idea that's where you were going. And I loved your reasons behind it. I'm going to ask you, what has been maybe one of the most trying task or episodes or transaction that you've had? Can you give us an example of what might be frustrating for you as the lender, or something that was just very difficult and yet you worked through it, so that we can have a day in the life of Nicole Hatter?
Rita, these questions are dynamite. Like, whoever paired us in the heavens, thank you, because these are all exceptional questions. I love it. So,
Thank
um,
you.
I will definitely point out the fact that I've come into contact with so many people in this very short amount of time. And what I've realized, and it's actually something also that I'm going to be, working on for myself to give to people, is that a lot of people have no idea, what a mortgage actually entails. There's four factors: the principal, the interest, the property taxes, and the homeowner's insurance that makes up that large monthly number that you have to pay. Large in some cases, not so large in others, right? Um, One of my most trying, or I'd say difficult, things that I'm just trying to get over. I noticed, and I noticed that a lot of people need education. They need to know what this
Mhm.
is. There's so much that goes into just buying a home. Um, I'd say that my most challenging or most frustrated thing is that there is there is knowledge, but not a lot of people know where to get it. And things need to be simplified because there's different types of people out in the world. Things need to be more simplified when you're speaking to a client. We need to speak to them as if they, no offense, as if they're elementary level and they know nothing, in my opinion, because we know what it entails because this is our profession. But people who don't work in our profession, who don't know where to go, for the knowledge, they just come to us and they just trust us and they just have so many questions and they just don't understand anything. And instead of just taking them through the transaction, we need to educate them through the transactions. Um, so my most frustrating thing though, is just that I just feel like there's not really a channel that really just helps people. I feel like there's channels to help aspiring realtors, aspiring loan originators, but not so many channels that help aspiring home buyers.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's it.
Well, you need to put on a home buying seminar then, because some real estate professionals do that. They do it with a lender, and some lenders just do it on their own,
Hmm.
where you go someplace, go to Champion School of Real Estate, use one of our classrooms, and just do an informative home buying seminar. We offer that to everyone. I love that you truly understand your client because they don't understand the buying process, the loan process. They don't understand all of the insurances that are out there. And there are lots of insurances. They don't understand the different property taxes that are out there. But I give you credit because you made it very simplified: principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and homeowners insurance being that insurance. And yet there can also be other insurance, private mortgage insurance, all different insurances. But giving the buyer your scope of knowledge to say, before we go any further, let me just explain some basics to you. I love that you want to do that. That is excellent. Can you think of a transaction that came together that was one of your most satisfying transactions that made you just really feel good personally?
Everything is so recent because even my time as being a loan originator is recent, right?
Sure.
So I'm going to use Tuesday's closing, for example. It was very satisfying. It was a VA client. When they came to me, their credit score was challenged. So I needed them to wait 30 days. I gave them some hints as to, after reviewing their credit report, I gave them kind of like a little homework as to what I needed them to do in order for us to get over that minimum VA credit score threshold, the 580. They just need to be above the 580. And so they did that. And then, we submitted the application, and then we got the conditions back. One of the conditions was they had to write a letter of explanation, basically explaining why they had late payments in whatever year that they had the late payments in. And my buyer, she was, every time I'd throw a condition at her, she was on top of it. She was frustrated. She was flustered. And she even said at one point, maybe this is just not for me. And I told her, as long as you keep being as poised as you are and getting me what I need, you're going to be fine. Just give me what I need. I'm going to get you to that closing table. But so after every condition that they threw at us, she was getting me what I needed. And like I stated before, we didn't close in March like she'd hoped, but we closed in April. And I was just super, super satisfied because she really didn't think she would be able to do it. Because she's like, they must just don't like my profile because they're just, and I'm like, it's okay. It's like this sometimes. You just have to be on top of it like you're doing, and we're gonna make it. And we made it. And to be able to actually make it after you have a person saying that they don't think it's gonna happen, getting those keys, and just thanking you 100,000 times after for continuously encouraging them and pushing them through the process. That's what I do this for. I honestly do that for this
Your
reason.
your positivity is awesome. I can tell you a lot of new people watching or listening to our podcast, Real Estate Superstars Today, they will say, she is so positive. I really want to meet her. And that's just to your credit. You just exude positivity and kindness. And that's what people want, no matter. And yet at the same time, you also have the education. What does Nicole do for fun when she's not working?
Nicole is a very simple country at heart girl. I will go out to Anahuac, which is near Galveston, and I will ride horses. If I want to be fancy, I'll have a small staycay at a hotel. I'll go on the rooftop. I will sit in the sun. I will relax. I will soak in the rays. I will order food because I love to eat, try different places to eat. Nothing crazy, honestly. I mean, I typically only go out of the country if there's a special occasion or if a group of friends want to do something. So it doesn't take much to make me happy. I'm a very simple girl.
Have you been riding horses a long time?
Yeah, since I was 6 years old. Yes, ma'am.
That is so very, very cool.
It is.
And you're still riding, and that's
Yeah,
enjoyable for you, just outside with nature and getting
it's
to know that. I would ask you as we finish up here, what advice might you give to your younger self, if any, looking back on where you are today?
I would tell younger Nicole to not give up. I would tell her that nothing worth having is going to come to you easy. I will tell her that she just needs to continue to move forward, to break those barriers, to jump over those obstacles, to to continue to be resilient, you know, to continue to be herself because herself is a beautiful self, right? And that it's okay, to explore. It's okay to be different. Um, and that I love her. I would tell her that.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
And I think right now you captured the hearts of many, many, many that will be watching this interview with Nicole Hatter. And she is in Houston, Texas,
yes.
but she is with West Capital Lending Company and very easy to talk to and enjoyable. to visit with. We will have this on our Champions YouTube students. If you want to hear this again, because she has given us so many wonderful units, gems of information, watch it again on YouTube. I want to thank all of our champions for their business, whether it's real estate, loan appraisal, inspection. I want to thank you, Nicole Hatter, for being so exceptional, not only as a loan officer in a short time, but all the beautiful, beautiful statements you made today as a person. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Rita. Thank you so very much for having me. If I can just say, to anybody out there that feels like they can't do this, you can do this. And if you just need somebody to tell you you can do this and tell you how you can do this, please, I'm here as a listening ear as well.
Very kind. Thank you for those words of encouragement. Have a great rest of the day. And again, to everyone, thank you for your business, and we will see you next time.